Okay, so now I'm going to remove this fork leg. So there'll be these, which are two 6mm on the bottom triple clamp, single 6mm at the top, and this is a 24mm hex. So the order you want to do this in is loosen this one. That will allow you to undo this one. I mean, if you've got this one tight, this isn't going to come undone and you'll just mash up this soft aluminum plug. So this one first, second, and then these, and then we slide the leg out. They're actually fairly low torque. Oh, okay, maybe not. And this is one of the other tricks. You want to make sure that all the bolts you're taking out, you put some kind of chain lube on them when they go back in, because you're inevitably screwing into aluminum somewhere. Actually, I don't have to take it out because I know I've already put chain lube on this one. I can feel it. But I'll take it out just to show you if it's visible. So I've got chain lube on this one, and that makes sure that the bolt doesn't make that horrible cracking noise and rip half the threads with it. It stops the corrosion going on, so you need to do that. So this came from an old Honda toolkit. It's just the right size. Oh. I'm just turning the whole leg. Is it? No. There's an O-ring in the top, which is providing all this resistance. That's what does the sealing. It's not how tight this nut is at all. It's all to do with the O-ring, making the seal. I'm going to continue doing this until it's loose, and then I'll take the rest out. Okay, so I've got it loose enough, and you can see the O-ring at the top here. You want to make sure that's nice and lubed up when it goes back in. And you've only just got to nip it. You don't have to put any torque on this at all, just nip it. This will stop it undoing. So these screws are now loose. I didn't take them out. These already have the coating. So you just grab it, twist it a bit, and it should. With any luck, twist and pull down. This is supposed to be reluctant. Of course, then don't do what I did, which was have a hand above the triple clamp. But all of a sudden it let go and wham! Hand went in, wham! Hand went into the bottom half. I've got a nice pinch on it, so I better go get that taped up. Okay, I'm going to see if I can use these needle nose pliers to get these brake line supports out so I can get the mud guard off. One of them just popped out on its own, which is always a good sign. Okay, now the top and bottom. See if that'll help this one come out. I think so. Yeah, there that one goes. There's this one. This one's side to side. So there that one goes. Okay. Okay, so I took a bit of tension off just by hanging it over this mudguard stay on the other leg. So now there's no tension on the brake hoses. Alright, so I got my finger all nicely bandaged up now from that screw up I made. Like I said, I'll show you all the errors, don't hold anything back. So this is how I'm going to support the fork leg. Nice height in my workmate, very handy tool this. Can't get them anymore, they only sell cheap plastic ones. So I put a little socket under here to get the axle bit to the right height so that I can clamp it in the jaws, and it's reasonably rigid. Because once you take this off and slide it down, here's the problem. You've got to get in here and you've got to push this thing down to get to a nut that's hidden underneath it and loosen that nut before all this assembly comes off. Isn't that fun? So you need a compression tool, and I'll show you how my one works. Alright, so the tool I've made up, again I'm using a piece of wood, is a 2x4 that I've drilled a hole through using one of those lock set drills. It's kind of like a circular saw, if you will. Puts lock sets indoors. And put a couple of holes through each side so I can put these pins in like that, which go in the holes up here. This will fit in there, and then I can use a ratcheting tie down strap and push this all the way to the bottom. Now how did I get that over there? Oh, like that. There we go. So these will go in there, on each side, and I can compress the spring. So yeah, this is a pretty crude mechanism, but I've got the tie down strap wrapped around the workmate at the bottom. You can see I've got it either side, got them crossed over. What it means is I can crank this down and have a little bit further to go. I'm almost there, I can almost get to that nut. There's a little bit further to go. I just ratchet this thing down, make sure these pins stay in because they are loose. It's not particularly secure, so I have to be very careful with that, not smash my fingers again. And it should work. So as you can see, I've got it down low enough so that I can now access that 14mm bolt. This I'm going to have to size. So I've got something to turn against. Now just nip it open, like that. Alright. And I can take this bit off, release the clamps, and I can dismantle the rest of it. Right, one of the things I'm doing now, as I'm unscrewing the top piece, I'm counting the number of half turns. So I'm already at 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, one of the nice features about using this strap is there's a nice lot of friction in it when you're trying to get the spring tension off. So I've got it loose, and I can just wiggle it, and it very slowly loosens. Bleeding, yay, great. And this is why you put the damper rod, oh shit, on the piece of wire and securely tighten the end of it, which I didn't do, clearly, so you can pull the damper out. Well, good job in getting the spring out. Right, so I managed to drop that threaded rod in. I've discovered that I can put this on, thread it, and I can pull that sucker up. Yeah, it's quite fun against the damping force. So that's handy. So if it does fall in, I can use this to pull it back up until I need it. So this is the oil I'm going to be putting back in. It's the Rotella 540, use it as engine oil. It works fine in this kind of application. There's a diesel, it's probably got some extra good stuff for low speed bearings. Can't remember the name right off the bat, but there's a thing for it. The level's 150mm. I'm using the damping tube as my measuring guide. I just marked it at 150mm, and I'll use it as a dipstick. So I'll pour the oil in, everything's down at the bottom, and I'll get it up so it's 150mm. Yeah, it's going to be hard to see, but I've got the oil level to 150mm below the top edge, and I've put the damper tube back in the middle of the damper rod there. So now I'm ready to do all the reassembly. So I've got to put all these parts back, there's not that many, and we're good to go. Got the winching thing set up again. So we've got to get that thing up above this level so we can put the top damper piece in. So I'll be jacking it down, pulling it up, jacking it down. Okay, it looks like I got it jacked down far enough. I was able to get this back on. Good job too, because the piece of wire came off again. And I caught it just before it sank, otherwise I'd have to repeat the whole thing. Yay. So I've got it on 10 full turns, 20 half turns. So now all I've got to do is nip up that nut. Come on, don't go down. opening it up. That'll do, believe it or not.